Hello, everyone. It's 6:05 p.m. Let me get my notes on the right side. And yes, we're going to be talking about the benefits, the perks of living on my own once I move out of my parents' house, probably early 2021, because at that point I would have a couple months of teacher salary under my belt, and I always want to make sure that I feel secure in whatever career before I make a drastic change like that. So I have the clock here because in about 30 minutes I have to go teach a tennis lesson, so I'm trying to keep pace. We'll see how long this goes. Let's talk about the negatives first. Obviously, moving out, it's a big initial cost. There are a bunch of things that I would have to buy: furniture, kitchen stuff, a lot of things. Maybe buying a machine, washing machine, and a dryer. Maybe I want to put stuff up on walls, all the lamps and stuff like that. Because the thing about, I've lived by myself, well, with roommates after college twice, and both times I came in later than the other people, and there was already furniture and kitchen stuff, so I never had to buy anything. Um, it's been easy to move, but at the same time, it's like I don't have any stuff, so that'll be a big initial cost. And speaking of costs, it'll also be a higher rent rate than what I probably have been used to, which is $500 a month or $700 a month. Um, I know. So, but utilities I feel like should be a little bit easier to deal with because I was paying for all the regular utilities at my friend's condo, in terms of the water and the heating and electricity and sewage, stuff like that. Um, and now I'm just paying for one person because basically our deal was he was paying for Comcast and the Wi-Fi and the cable, although she shouldn't have been paying for the cable because it kept going up and up because it's Comcast, and he was definitely getting the short end of the stick because on average my utilities were around 140 a month over a year because I was keeping track. Yeah, and then cost of Wi-Fi because I've never paid for my own Wi-Fi, and then debating if I want cable or not. Um, I've never lived by myself in terms of in college or after college, so maybe I could possibly be lonely, especially if it's like 30 or 40 miles away from my parents, where I can't. I'll still. I think wherever I am in Illinois, I'll probably still try to make it out to see them, if not once a week, like I was when I was living a mile away every Sunday afternoon slash evening, but definitely at least once a month type of thing. Um, and yeah, even though I complain a lot about my roommate, he's still my good friend, and we had some good times. It's just I think we're better when we just see each other in a social environment when we're hanging out with people, as opposed to being with each other every day. It's also a new experience, so maybe I might be having some sort of anxiety or just some nerves. But let's talk about the positives because there are a lot more. No more annoying roommates. You guys have seen the things that annoy me, video, stuff like that. Even though they've all been my close friends, they've all the freshman year, the sophomore year, the junior slash senior year friend. Um, I guess the people in Wisconsin didn't really bother me because I just didn't really see them that much. One person traveled a lot, and the other person stayed in his bedroom and played video games a lot. So it kind of felt like I was alone there. But my friend who I was living with in Wheaton, um, all of them have eventually annoyed me, and I've probably annoyed them. So it'll be nice to not have that. I will own all the stuff there, so I get to control what's in my apartment. I get to control where it goes, how it all looks, and it's a nice hashtag adulting thing to try to come up with a budget and think about, okay, how much do I want to spend on these different things, because like I said before, it's going to be a lot of cost, but at the same time, it's a good experience to have to try to save up for things that I need. Um, yeah, like I'll be able to think, okay, do I want this big TV or do I not need a TV? What kind of kitchen stuff do I want? Things like that. Um, it should be easier again to date since I'll have a place to myself and I won't have to say in my bios living at my parents' due to grad school being expensive for the foreseeable future. So hopefully that will help. And I think that's why I was really trying to go hard on the dating apps up until the end of June for those couple of months because that's when I had kind of had my own place. I mean, I was with my friend. Um, but yeah, it should be easier to date, and maybe I'll date starting then. Um, all the utilities are from what I use because basically my roommate kind of takes longer showers in the morning than I was taking, although he did put on the low flow mode in the shower, so I'm not sure how that balances out. But it's in terms of he liked to keep the porch light on. I know these are kind of petty, but I always remember these because I'm very much a penny pincher. He kept the porch light on, and when I would come home after him, I would turn it off. Other things. Sometimes he like cooked a ton, like way more than what I was using in terms of the gas, which is fine. I mean, I guess that's better than when he would just do fast food for every dinner. But I was always like, I gotta pay for this. In terms of other stuff, yeah, it's like I know that it's all on me now, so I have to be more responsible. Um, Another thing, I can just play my music loud because when I'm living at my parents with my two sisters here, one of them just for the summer because she's in college still, when I have a roommate like my friend a mile away, I was always thinking, well, when they come home, I want to make sure I'm wearing headphones because I don't want to make things loud for them. And yeah, it would just be nice to just play loud music or not have to use headphones that much, like for my YouTube videos and stuff. Um, I'll also probably buy a desk where I can do work on it because I feel like when I've had roommates, I haven't wanted to do my grad school homework or other work I've had to do because, like I said before, my roommate when he comes home, we had a basement, first floor, second floor, and he would go on the first floor and he would just talk a lot or he'd listen to some podcast while he's cooking or he would talk a lot when he was playing Xbox. So I never bought a desk for the basement or my bedroom because I always knew there's going to be some sort of noise. And also, there wasn't a lot of room for those things. But having my own place, I should be able to just have a desk. And I hope that I can build the whole I don't need a library type of skill for doing work here at my parents because I've done a pretty good job of just staying here and not going to the library. Although that'll be tested once my school job starts because the library is on the way home from my school job, so we'll see. And that was the kind of the usual thing I did in the spring and the winter. Um, yeah, also just being more anonymous in terms of no one really knowing what I'm doing, which is nice. Not like I'm doing shady stuff, but usually if I started to leave and my roommate was there, he'd be like, "Oh, where are you going?" And I always tell the truth, or most of the time. Same with my parents. They kind of know where I'm at all times. So just having that extra sense of privacy, just I can be wherever and no one would know. So that feels good. Also, my roommate sometimes he would make these things like clam chowder or this like fried chicken thing he made, and also when he roasts his coffee beans. Well, the clam chowder especially because he put it down the sink when our disposal garbage disposal was broken for like a couple weeks. So at first it wasn't bad, but it just started to just be horrible. And our disposal also, whenever we ran the dishwasher next to it, the disposal stuff would kind of shoot up back into the sink a little bit. So it was really gross. And then the fried chicken, I don't know what it was. I mean, usually fried chicken smells fine, but his just lingered for like a couple days. I tried to put a one of those box fans next to it. I tried to open the windows because this was just a couple months ago, like in May or June. So, and then yeah, the coffee it just always lingers for a couple days, and at least he's apologized for that. But yeah, it just smells for a long time. So I'm definitely looking forward to just being able to control the food that's being made at my place. Um, yeah, another thing, this also happens a little bit at my parents' house because I share a bathroom with my college sister, but just sometimes I have to wait for some sort of bathroom to be used. Like if I have to take a shower, like I get home, I have to take a shower because I just did something active or just because I want to, and my roommates in the shower. We had two bathrooms, one on the first floor, one on the second, but the second floor one had a shower. So sometimes they needed that. Sometimes he was in the bathroom and I wanted to brush my teeth, floss and stuff, but because I wanted to go to bed, but he was there, so I had to wait. Um, yeah, with my college sister, sometimes she's in the shower and I need to um, like take my contacts out, stuff like that at night. So just having my own shower and just never having to wait for it. That was especially bad in Madison because we just lived on one floor with three bedrooms for the three of us, and it was just three of us who were working at the same company because they had like an Excel spreadsheet of just open rooms for through the company's whatever internal website, but we had one bathroom for the three of us. So they both took morning showers. I always took an evening one, so that was fine. But sometimes in the morning, like I'd have to wake up, I got to go to the bathroom, but then they're taking a shower, so I just have to wait. So that was bad. Um, Better thermostat settings, yeah, because the condo I was at with my roommate a mile away, my room just didn't seem to have good insulation because like in the winter I would touch the walls and they'd feel cold, and this was especially bad the last two winters because we've had some extremely cold weather, like even -40 or -50 degrees a couple days in January. um, and then since it has no insulation in the summer, it was always kind of warm in my room. And even when we would have the AC on for like 70 or 71 degrees, it didn't really help things. And then also the basement was usually cold in the like pretty cold in the winter. Like there wasn't much. I think basements are generally are just colder. So that wasn't good because that's where I would play my Xbox and that's where I would chill, read a book, do some chess stuff because I didn't want to. I usually go to my bedroom once I'm kind of near bedtime, but other than that, I want to. It was nice to have that whole space in the basement, but it was just so cold. Um, yeah, I might be able to meet some neighbors because maybe I'll have like neighbors around my age, and maybe there is a whole apartment association where there are social events. I mean, I know that definitely happens in Chicago because I just visited one of my friends who there's always like an event every week at his apartment complex. But his apartment complex also is like 40 or 45 floors, so there's a lot of people. But the problem with the condo, I mean, the problem with suburbs in general, and this is Wheaton especially, there's just a lot of old people and there are a lot of families with young kids. So I feel like my roommate and I were both 26. And when we started, he was 25 and I was 24. Um, it just feels like we were the youngest people who weren't with their parents, kind of thing. Um, and there was no like events or anything like that, so I didn't really make any neighbor friends. That goes back to the whole not having the best social life. So maybe I'll meet some neighbors at whatever apartment that I end up being in Illinois, but that might be unlikely. And then in terms of living on my own, that also means most likely a new town, which means being able to find a gym. Maybe I'll make friends there, and just getting into the whole lifting and cardio thing where I actually stick to a plan this time as opposed to quitting after a month or two. Um, I can join a tennis club, a tennis team, or just a tennis club with maybe some sort of ladder match type of thing where you just play like round robin with some guys. So maybe I'll make friends through those. Maybe the meetup.com groups are better in the town as opposed to this county or just Wheaton because it's like boring stuff. Like I don't really want to hang out and play board games with people, but I mean some board games are fun, but I feel like if I want to play board games it would have to be with friends as opposed to just strangers. And then the other meetup.com stuff is like going out to drinking, stuff like that. So maybe that'll be better in whatever town I end up in. And new restaurants, that's another benefit of a new town. Forest preserves, stuff like that. Just things to discover. And I'm pretty excited for that. Just finding a new town and maybe being there for a while. Um, Another thing, this is just kind of specific to the condo, but our parking situation was where we had one car garage and then someone parked in the driveway, and the whole driveway was like 4 cars long for 4 different uh, condos, and each one had a one car garage. So, and since I always got home earlier, I would usually park in the garage and he would park behind me. But then I left work earlier I left in the morning earlier than he did. So sometimes, and for some reason he like, especially, I mean, even in the warmer months, I get like in the colder months, you don't want to park out on the street and stay cold while your car, because usually the coldest months, the garage is still like 40 degrees, and usually it's more like 50, 60, 70 degrees in there, just because I can tell with my car thermometer. But for some reason, even when it's like nice out, he just wants to take out his car right when I'm leaving, and sometimes he's like late, sometimes he sleeps in accidentally. Sometimes he wants to go and I want to go like a couple minutes later. So there was always this disconnect in terms of like matching up, syncing up to move our cars. And then the other thing that made me mad was just sometimes on the weekends he would decide to park on the driveway when I would be coming home and I have to park on the street, even though I wasn't going to use my car anymore. So I'd rather not wait until that evening to be like, oh, can we move cars? Um, so that made me mad that like for some reason he picked the worst spot. Like he can go in the garage and then I can go in the driveway, or he can go on the street and then I can go in the garage. But that made me mad. So just having like my own parking space and not depending on others. That's another like depending on others type of thing because I made that. Let's go keep going. We got 2 more. We're making good time. Oh, also, I always grab the mail from the mailbox, and most of it was just junk mail or different magazines from my roommate, which is fine. I didn't really subscribe to a lot of mailings. But what made me mad was like I always grabbed it, I put it on the kitchen counter, and then he would just not look at it for a long time. Like he works hard at his job, but when he comes home, it's just he's very lazy, and he's very in his routine. So his routine is just, oh, I'll clean up everything every 2 weeks. But I just didn't like that a whole part of the counter was just unusable because his stuff was there. But I didn't want to be like, hey, can you move this stuff? And yeah, he does the same thing. Like he'll put semi-dirty dishes just to the side of the sink as opposed to using the dishwasher, because I always cleared most of the stuff off on my plates and utensils and stuff, put in the dishwasher, and then maybe once a week did the dishwasher. But you just have these dirty like um, Tupperwares, dirty utensils, and not really plates. He didn't really use a lot of plates, but they would just be on the side. And I'm like, you have to either put it in the dishwasher or you have to clean it a lot better so it just doesn't look disgusting. Another thing, which probably is only pertaining to me because I'm kind of weird about this, but I like to keep bathroom doors a certain way. If they swing outward, I want to keep them mostly closed so I'm not blocking like the hallway stuff. And basically, we have this first floor bathroom where it swings out, but then if it swings out all the way, it's not blocking anything. But I don't know. I just always was taught to if it's inward swing, then you can do whatever with it because it's not going to block anything. But when it's outward swing, I kind of want it to be like close to the being closed, just because. But so we had this whole thing where I would use that bathroom in the morning because on my way to work because I had my contacts there and just use the bathroom. I would close the door mostly, and then I get home and the door would be wide open. And eventually I just gave up because I realized if I keep trying to change things and they are changed back by the other person, I'm just going to get mad. And that's the same thing with like lights that are turned on, especially at my parents' house because my older sister who's just living here because she graduated college a little over a year ago, she'll keep her bathroom door or bathroom lights on because she's in the other bathroom on the second floor. She'll have the hallway light on, stuff like that. And same thing with my roommate. He would keep the hallway light on, but he would, like when he was in his bedroom, because our bedrooms are on the second floor, he would keep that light on even though he would close his door. So then no one's using that hallway. So that door thing just always made me a little mad. So that's about it. We're getting close to doing the tennis lesson. It's 6:27 p.m. now. I've gone for about 22 minutes, so this is a good time to stop, just so it doesn't take forever to upload. But hopefully you guys learned something. Just comment down below your kind of living situation and what you think the best living situation is. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is, what is it? I think it's other things. Let me just look it up. I always am doing this. I think it's like other things I want to self-improve in my life, but let's just see. I'm just opening the Pages document. Yes, other ways I want to self-improve. So it'll probably be a little bit of a shorter video. This was a longer video because it was over a page of notes. So I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, see ya.